Welcome to Copeland. I'm Dan. How do you find a great deal on some property for homesteading and off-grid living? Where do you look? What tools do you use? How do you go about finding that hidden gem? Well, first you need to figure out where you want to live. And I think the short answer, if you want really cheap land, is you're probably going to want to move to a state where most people don't want to live. Something like Alaska, where it's very cold, or the Redoubts up in Idaho, where it's cold, in the Ozarks, where it's hot and rocky, in the mountains of West Virginia, Texas, places that most people, they can't find jobs, the economy stinks, the land is rough, and that's where you're going to find the best price. So think about what state you want to live in, what area you want to live. Once you find an area or a state that looks good to you, start reaching out to a realtor. The reason I like starting at a realtor is because they will often get listings that have not yet hit the market, but they're going to hit the market. For example, my house was going to hit the market, but I needed a month to fix some things up before I listed it. So I talked to my real estate agent. I said, help me figure out how much it's going to sell for. And he knew I was listing it. And if someone had reached out and said, hey, we're looking for this, he would have hooked us up, connected the two. And sometimes you can find stuff before it hits the market. The next step after you reach out to a realtor is Zillow, Trulia, all the online search engines. There's a lot of like land for sale type of websites that just specialize in land. But most of the properties that I was interested in, I found on Zillow. There's also Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, some classifieds that will have some land. I think a neat resource is local auction companies. So do a search for auctions in Texas or auctions in West Virginia or wherever, and sign up for these auction companies, because a lot of times they'll do estate auctions. And when they do estate auctions, they will sometimes sell a whole house or property, or sometimes just the land itself and the house separately. So foreclosures, auctions, estate sales, you can get some amazing deals. You might have to have the cash or ability to get the cash pretty quickly, but that's a great way to find a great deal on some property. The last tip I have is to go to the location where you think you want to buy a piece of property. Visit it, get to know the town, get to know the community, visit some churches, meet some folks, meet some neighbors, walk around, drive around, and talk to people. And the reason you do this is because there's a little known secret in that people who have grown up many generations in one area, they often own most of the land. And you wouldn't think about it, because it might be some redneck in a double wide who you're like, he doesn't have any money, and yet he owns 300 of the best hunting acres in the county because his family owned it and they passed it down or whatnot. And a lot of times folks will own 10 or 20 acres here or there and many different hunting spots because they want to rotate hunting spots. And once you get to know a hunter, they typically have like a group that they hunt in, and they'll know other folks who've got some hunting land. So that's the little secret in the country, is you start talking to folks, and you might come across someone who's got 10 acres, or maybe an older farmer who wants to retire and their kids, they don't want the farm, and they might be looking to sell it. And it might be a deal where you buy the land, but the old farmer on the property wants to live in that house. So they keep the 5 acres, and the other 100 acres you buy around it, and then once he dies, you get the house. So there's a lot of interesting things you can do if you just ask. Like, hey, do you know anyone who's thinking about selling some land? This is what I'm looking for. This is the price I'm looking for. So go out, visit the area you think you might want to live, spend some time, spend your weekends, rent out a little Airbnb, and just get to know the area. If you like it, ask around, find some land. There's a lot more than is on the market, that's for sure. I'm posting new videos on homesteading and off-grid living every day on 2ac3.com/Copeland. Come check us out.